As the year winds down and everyone's busy planning resolutions, millions of people are simply trying to make it through today. What if I told you that 1 in 3 people you know is silently sacrificing things you probably take for granted? I'm talking about the hidden sacrifices that come with chronic illness, and these aren't rare. They're conditions like diabetes, arthritis, autoimmune diseases, chronic pain, and mental health struggles affecting families everywhere. Today we're exploring the 10 most profound sacrifices people with chronic illness make. Not just symptoms or statistics, but real human experiences that reveal how fragile our everyday freedoms truly are. And by understanding these sacrifices, we can change the way we view our own health, relationships, and daily choices. At number 10 is something most people don't realize gets affected until it's gone: the ability to plan for the future. For people with chronic illness, the future isn't uncertain because they lack dreams. It's uncertain because every major decision has to pass through one variable: their health. Buying a home, choosing a career, planning a trip, all come with extra calculations most people never have to consider. For many, the real dream isn't just the plan itself, it's hoping their body will cooperate long enough to make it possible. At number 9 is something deeper than people realize: the loss of hobbies and identity. Chronic illness often forces people to give up the activities, passions, and even careers that once made them feel alive. It's not just losing something they enjoyed, it's losing pieces of who they were. The runner who can't run, the artist whose hands won't cooperate, the parent who can't keep up, the professional who had to step back. At number 8 is a sacrifice most people never see: navigating a healthcare system that often feels like an obstacle course. Managing medications, coordinating specialists, dealing with insurance, waiting for appointments, and facing long waits for referrals becomes part of everyday life. At number 7 is a sacrifice that hits hard: financial security. Chronic illness is expensive in ways far beyond medical bills. Medications, equipment, frequent appointments, and tests, all while many people can't work full time. Some ration medications or skip treatments they simply can't afford. Financial stress becomes a constant companion, another weight added to an already heavy load. At number 6 is the loss of something everyone needs to feel grounded: predictability. Chronic illness runs on its own schedule, ignoring plans, commitments, and routines. This unpredictability makes work, social plans, and even simple daily tasks difficult to maintain. Every plan comes with an unspoken condition: if my body cooperates. At number 5 is one of the most painful sacrifices: social isolation. Plans get cancelled because the illness takes an unexpected turn, and activities that once felt fun become exhausting or impossible. Even with good intentions, many people struggle to understand how someone can look fine, yet be unable to participate. Both sides end up hurt, and relationships that once brought joy slowly fade into loneliness and misunderstanding. At number 4 is a sacrifice no one can see: the emotional and mental weight of chronic illness. Depression, anxiety, stress, grief for the life that changed, fear for the future, frustration with daily limitations all become constant companions. What makes it even harder is the pressure to stay positive. Society expects strength and resilience, leaving many people feeling guilty for struggling at all. At number 3 is a sacrifice that cuts deeply: the loss of independence. Physical limitations can force people to rely on others for tasks they once did effortlessly: buttoning a shirt, carrying groceries, even opening a jar. Independence is a freedom most people don't think about until it's threatened. The ability to go where you want, when you want, without help is so fundamental that losing it can feel earth-shattering. Chronic illness changes not just what a person can do, but how they see themselves and how the world sees them. At number 2 is something that sounds simple, but is devastating in reality: overwhelming fatigue. This isn't normal tiredness, it's profound exhaustion that isn't relieved by rest and makes even small tasks feel much harder than they should. And at number 1 is something everyone recognizes, but few can imagine living with every day: persistent pain. Some days it's a dull ache, other days it's sharp, burning, or stabbing, but it's always there, humming beneath every conversation, every meal, and every moment of joy. It affects how a person sits, sleeps, moves, and even hugs the people they love. But the most exhausting part isn't just the pain it's having to keep going in spite of it. Working, smiling, talking, pretending everything is fine while the body feels like it's being pinched, squeezed, or stabbed throughout the day. That's the daily reality for millions of people fighting a battle no one else can see.